First quarter, 0-0. Shaky response from Wisconsin. After a short run by Taylor, Ohio State devours two screen attempts for ugly incompletions. The quarter ends with a punt that is downed at the Ohio State 29. 59. Ohio State 14. Wisconsin 7. Success rate doesn't matter as much when your successful plays gain 1,000,000 yards each. After a Barrett pass to Marcus Baugh moves the chains, Barrett and Paris Campbell connect for a short completion, and Campbell bursts up the sideline for 57 yards and a touchdown. 2-08. Wisconsin 7. Ohio State 7. Here's what a flipped field can do for you. On Ohio State's second play, Andrew Van Ginkel steps in front of a poorly thrown Barrett out route and scores from 9 yards out. Pick 6. Easy. Tie game. Early success rate, by the way, Wisconsin 47%, Ohio State 25%. McLaurin's TD was huge, but Wisconsin's been better play for play so far. 2-40. Wisconsin moves the ball pretty well again, thanks mostly to a 25-yard catch and run by Ramesh. But the drive stalls at the OSU 36, and the Badgers punt. If you're going to punt from inside the 40, you better do it well. And they do. Anthony Lotta's kick is downed at the 2-6-31. Ohio State 7. Wisconsin 0. Well, that was a dramatic turn. Wisconsin looked like it was going to be the first to strike. But following the pick, J.T. Barrett, after scrambling for a first down on the play before, finds Terry McLaurin wide open for an 84-yard touchdown. 4 plays, 96 yards. First blood. 7-46. Interception. Wisconsin gets a good drive going, and in a creative, but very Wisconsin way, with passes to running backs. Jonathan Taylor gains 16 yards. Raqib Ibrahim gains 10, and fullback Austin Ramesh gains 20 on a wheel route. The Badgers enter the OSU red zone with a Hornibrook pass to Danny Davis. Then, as Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt are talking about how good Hornibrook has been of late, he makes a huge mistake. He tries to find tight end Troy Fumagalli along the right sideline, but Fumagalli is covered, and the pass isn't good. Denzel Ward picks it off at the 4-11-44. We start with 2 blink and you miss it 3 and outs. Wisconsin gets the ball first, rushes twice for 4 yards, and throws incomplete. Ohio State responds with 3 runs for 7 yards. Wisconsin will get the ball at the 27, exactly where it started on the first drive. Preview. On this week's podcast Ain't Played Nobody with guest host Holly Anderson, I briefly teased what I thought I would be writing about as a preview of Saturday's Big Ten title game between Wisconsin and Ohio State. Game control. I wish I hadn't. It's all about game state. What's the score at the end of the first quarter? Because that's going to tell you pretty much what you need to know. If Ohio State comes out and plays basically like they did last time they saw Wisconsin in the Big Ten title game, where Ohio State was up 14-0 almost immediately and Wisconsin realized real early, crap, what's plan B? Crap, we don't have a plan B. We could see Ohio State looking really good and putting a big number on the board. But if they can't find an early advantage, Wisconsin's more than happy to grind for 4 quarters and hit J.T. Barrett a lot and force a couple of turnovers and really make them miserable. Now, part of that was a compliment, and part of it was stating the obvious: few teams are actually good at falling behind early and coming back. Usually when you fall behind early, it means you're a lesser team. Ohio State has dilly-dallied a few times or spotted its opponent an early advantage and responded. But saying Wisconsin is not good at playing from behind is lazy. It might also be untrue. Option teams aside, Wisconsin might have the strongest identity in college football right now. The Badgers are going to play strong, smart defense. They're going to run the football. They're going to make great defenders and tight ends out of walk-on pieces of clay. And they can lull you into believing things that might have once been true but aren't now. Things like Wisconsin not really being able to fall behind the schedule scoreboard. Some quick stats for you from Wisconsin's statistical profile. On standard downs, the Badgers have a 48% success rate, slightly above the national average of 47%. Adjusting for opponent, they are no. 39 in standard downs S&P+. Perfectly decent. On passing downs, they have a 40% success rate, well above the national average of 31%. Adjusting for opponent, they are 6th in passing downs S&P+. Tremendous. And unexpected. Compare that to the 2014 Wisconsin that got so memorably crushed by Ohio State and Indianapolis. That Badger offense actually graded out a bit better overall. No. 26 and off. S&P+, which isn't an incredible surprise considering the year running back Melvin Gordon had. The success came on standard downs. However, they were no. 11 in SD S&P+, and no. 63 in PD S&P+. On 3rd and 4 or more. Quarterbacks Joel Stave and Tanner McAvoy combined for a 48% completion rate and a passer rating of only 92.7. Current quarterback Alex Hornibrook, 58% completion rate, 152.9 rating. When Ohio State shut down Gordon early in the 2014 conference title game, there was no Plan B for this Wisconsin team. Plan B is almost better. The Badgers have not played the strongest schedule in the world this year. They know it. You know it. We all know it. But that's mostly because of opposing offenses. They have played 5 opponents that rank in the def. S&P Plus top 30 at the moment. And against those 5 teams, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, Northwestern, and Purdue, the Badgers didn't exactly grind out wins. Wisconsin versus def. S&P Plus top 30. 5. 8 yards per play. 31. 4 points per game. 5. 8 yards per play. 31. 4 points per game. Wisconsin versus everybody else. 6. 7 yards per play. 37. 3 points per game. Granted, not all of those 31 points per game come from the offense. Defense and special teams have gotten into the act. But the Badgers' offense has had moments of true quality this year, not grind it out and lean on you quality. Just plain old quality. The Badgers have been particularly good at catching back up to the chains. There is not a direct correlation between being behind schedule and being behind on the scoreboard. But if you think about it, they're pretty close. The whole idea of passing downs is that most teams are rendered one-dimensional. And opponents know they're going to have to throw more and take more risks. In many ways, then, that's the same as being behind. So just because the Badgers haven't been behind much this year doesn't mean they wouldn't respond well to it. So if we're not talking about Wisconsin as a team that needs a good first quarter to win, we're left talking about Wisconsin as one of the 3 best teams Ohio State has played this year. The Badgers are strong on offense. No. 40 and off. S&P Plus. And have the best defense J.T. Barrett and the Buckeyes have seen all year. First in def. S&P Plus. Hornibrook could be the key. He has thrown some shaky interceptions at times, but he has shown a willingness to attempt big throws, and he's completed a lot of them. He completed passes of 31 and 27 yards to A.J. Taylor on 3rd and long, and most of the Badgers' scoring drives against the good defenses mentioned above featured big 3rd down passing, not a road grader drive from star running back Jonathan Taylor. Overall, S&P Plus says the Badgers are better than both Oklahoma, which romped over Ohio State in Columbus, and Penn State, which the Buckeyes defeated by 1 point at home. For all of the pundits jumping ahead and already talking about a potential Alabama versus Ohio State debate for the last playoff spot, we should probably step back and remind ourselves that Wisconsin has a tremendous chance of rendering that debate moot.